This is Newcap News with Nicole Stilger.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. 3 Lloydminster residents are in custody after police recovered drugs, a gun and cash early yesterday morning. Lloydminster RCMP searched a suspicious vehicle during patrols where they found the gun and ammunition. Another search then uncovered drug trafficking paraphernalia, $3,000 in cash, 31 grams of meth and 24 grams of cocaine. The street value of the drugs is estimated at $5,500. 18-year-old Megan Hill, 34-year-old Dustin Caplet, and 36-year-old Mark Parker are facing a variety of drugs, weapons, and theft-related charges. All 3 will appear in court tomorrow. Well, Lloydminster's newly elected mayor and council sat for their first council meeting today. Adam McVicker has more from City Hall.
Well, it was the first meeting for the newly elected council and mayor. Of course, 6 of the 7 representatives are newcomers to civic politics, except for incumbent Ken Baker. He's back for yet another term. Now, many of the new representatives say it was a tough learning curve, but they're happy with how the first meeting went.
There's definitely some kinks to work out, and it's quite long. We really got to get the process down as far as all the procedural stuff, but I think as far as debate goes, you know, most items that required some debate got it, and I think that's really important.
Now, the first major item on the agenda was the new downtown redevelopment plan, awarding a contract to a design company in Calgary. And the main concern with this was the cost of hiring this company on and the possible duplications of studies previously done. But the council does say this is a necessary plan to move forward with a revitalization downtown.
So I think council is very aware of that. People want to make sure that if we're spending money on their behalf, we're spending good money. And I think that's the sense I get from council, and you can ask the other council members, is that we want to be absolutely crystal clear that we're proceeding in the right steps at the right time.
Travel expenses were also on the table during this meeting. First reading was passed to a policy that would limit spending of council and senior level administration while they're on trips for the city. But it's only a matter of time that we'll see amendments made to this policy.
I think there are opportunities where you need to have some, I guess, opportunity to exercise some choice in that. But hopefully, I guess part of it is that understanding it now and recognizing that it's that type of business that you're going to be in. And there are examples where it's appropriate to do it.
Some housekeeping items on the agenda as well today. Changing the procedure of how council receives recommendations from administration and moves forward with debate.
Got a lot of information flushed out. Is it the perfect system? I don't think it is, but we're going to try it for a little while, and I think this is what we're going to find with our new council, is that we want to try and see what works and tailor it to make it work. And there may be some adjustments, as you can appreciate, because as I'm learning very quickly, I'm not going to be permanently parked in stone and in concrete. I've got to be prepared to be a little bit flexible and work with things.
Now, a majority of things brought forward to council during today's meeting only passed first reading. They will be brought before City Council again in the next few weeks. Reporting from City Hall, Adam McVicker, Newcap News.
Well, when it comes to uniting Alberta's right-winged parties, local MLA and PC leadership candidate Dr. Richard Starkey wants to make one thing clear. At a rally this weekend, Starkey says he believes it would be good for all Conservatives to unite under the Progressive Conservative banner, but he's opposed to the merger of 2 different political parties as it takes too much time to gain strength.
Because of that, my friends, and that when it's been done in other jurisdictions, has taken a long time before that party then becomes successful in elections.
He cites the Saskatchewan Party, Federal Conservatives, and the BC Liberals all having bumpy starts before gaining political power. He adds Albertans all seem to be united when it comes to improving the economy and jobs.
You know, I think everybody is thinking about the future. They're excited about the potential for the future. They're a little worried about the future. But I think tomorrow in Alberta we can be in a place where once again we lead the world.
Starkey is one of 4 candidates vying for the PC leadership, which will be decided next spring. Now, Starkey also told Newcap News his thoughts on the 2 women who dropped out of the PC leadership race.
Well, I was very saddened by both of them. I mean, Donna and Sandra are colleagues. You know, I've worked with both of them. They bring incredible depth of experience in their areas, and I think it's really unfortunate that they've chosen to withdraw. I understand, you know, their decision. I respect their decision, but I think it's really unfortunate. I think the race will be, you know, poorer for not having their voices there.
And Starkey says when it comes to bullying and harassment of any candidate during this race, that is unacceptable, disgusting, and despicable. Well, according to Alberta Innovates, oil isn't going away anytime soon. In fact, the demand for the resource continues to grow globally, and there's enough of it to sustain the world for some time. But just because there is a demand for oil and other non-renewable energies, Kara Johnston with AI tells Newcap News that we need to deal with our waste and find ways to reuse it.
There's lots of opportunities to consider the environment when innovating. There's lots of ways to reduce carbon emissions, carbon dioxide emissions, which is kind of the big thing when we talk about regarding our carbon footprint.
Pipeline leak detection is one idea being looked at right now, as cleaner ways to transport oil is top of mind for many Albertans. Johnston adds many innovative projects are in the works right here in Lloydminster, and despite the economic downturn, she sees a bright future for the province.
We know we're never going to see $100 oil again, so what it does is it forces us to be innovative, and it forces us to really look for other opportunities. And I think that our future will be stronger because we've been forced to diversify.
Alberta Innovates focuses on finding solutions in 4 sectors: bio, health, energy and environment, and technology futures. Well, Lloydminster and area seniors are getting, once again, their wishes granted this holiday season. The Lloydminster Co-op is hosting their Spread a Little Love This Christmas campaign for the 2nd year in a row. Brian Lentz reports.
We launched this program on a Friday last year. By Wednesday, all the ornaments were gone.
More than 500 gift wishes were granted last year for seniors, and Lloydminster Co-op CEO Don Stevenson says he was overwhelmed by the community's response.
What we saw was, a request, an ornament request for a box of chocolates. That box of chocolates came back, with a couple of hand-drawn pictures by kids in the family, by a little note, by a thank you card.
It's a simple idea. A senior in long-term care or housing in the area makes a wish, a stranger picks up that wish at the co-op in Lloydminster or Neilburg and returns with the gift. But it's an idea Stevenson says reveals the Christmas spirit.
People, families, they use that opportunity to step up and say, this is truly what Christmas and the season really means. It's the opportunity to give without, looking for anything in return.
For the seniors, the gifts can have a big impact on their holidays.
The words that kept popping up over and over was wonderful, amazing. The uniqueness of the gifts and having each gift have meaning was what resonated with them the most, because they feel like they are still being remembered and they're still a part of the community.
Gifts for a Spread a Little Love This Christmas can be purchased from now until December 2nd and will be delivered before Christmas Day. Reporting from the Lloydminster Co-op, I'm Brian Lentz, Newcap News.
Well, over the last 35 years, the Lloydminster Airport has undergone many changes. In this week's edition of Retrospect, Gina Martin shows us how a new air traffic control system for the airport took flight.
Nav Canada has assumed control of the country's civil air navigation system, the system that used to be run by Transport Canada. They're now responsible for the work done out of flight service stations, including the one in Lloydminster.
Provide advisory service, weather briefings, NOTAMs, flight following for aircraft in the area of Alberta and that portion of Saskatchewan that's covered off by their area.
Officials with the non-share capital corporation say they're not planning any immediate changes.
All of the employee benefits are the same for all of the employees, and that was part of the major negotiation between Transport Canada and the NAV Canada Board of Directors. The operational system, or the system that's out there, was transferred over as is, where is, and there will be there are no visible changes from the point of view of the user nor the staff.
City officials echo that sentiment, saying border city residents will not likely notice a difference when they visit the airport.
Anybody that's using the airport for regular scheduled flights, nothing like that is going to change. You might see some physical changes, you might see some signage changes, and I think before you see any real substantive changes, there'll be plenty of warning.
Flash forward to today, and NAV Canada still assumes its role at the Lloydminster Airport, but as technology evolves, so does its service.
As far as NAV Canada's services, at one time it was 24 hours a day with people manning the tower and everything. Now they've supplemented about a third of that with automated weather observations and stuff like that, but still maintaining safe courses of action.
The city also seems keen to evolve as well, constantly looking at ways to collaborate and innovate to attract travelers.
Saying we're certainly aggressively looking at other options for increasing our services to air travelers and the users of our airports and our stakeholders here.
That's all for Retrospect this week. I'm Gina Martin.
Well, the Bobcats came out of their home-and-home weekend with a win against the Calgary Mustangs and a loss to the Drumheller Dragons. Changes are being made and new players have been added to the roster. Bailey Nitty has more.
The Cats had a positive start to the weekend, winning 2-1. Brady Barkley and Kobe Walker with the goals. But Saturday night's game didn't go as well, though the Cats did keep it close. Chasten Braid, a newcomer to the team, picked up his first Bobcats goal against the Dragons, but it wasn't enough as they lost 3-2.
I thought we battled hard all game. We competed, we had chances to score, and I thought we played well. Just another mistake that cost us late in the game and cost us 2 huge points.
While Travis Clayton was searching for an answer to the team's recent struggles, he found defenseman Austin Arrett, acquired from the Calgary Canucks, who has already shown incredible skill in his first game as a Bobcat.
Austin, a new guy that we got from the Canucks on D, I thought just composure back there, right? And he makes plays tape to tape, and he's gonna get better and better for us too. And I think our forwards maybe aren't used to it either that way.
Chasten Braid and Austin Arrett are 2 key additions for the Bobcats, and they're expected to change the dynamic of the team. Braid, former Saskatoon Blade, has been put on Zach Webb's line, who he feels he's already connected with.
He's a skill guy, he's got a lot of speed, but yeah, it's really good playing with him. Got a lot of chemistry so far.
2 huge additions, and we just got to keep building and hopefully get a little bit healthier, and we got to find ways to win hockey games instead of finding ways to lose games.
The Bobcats have dropped to 3-16-1, leaving them in last place in the North Division, but that hasn't stopped Clayton and the Cats from staying optimistic and continuing to push through the lows.
I care about those boys, and we'll get through it together, and I don't question their work ethic one bit. They competed again tonight, and eventually they're going to get rewarded.
The Cats are back for another home-and-home this upcoming weekend here at the Civic. Friday night they'll take on the Canmore Eagles, and Saturday the second best team in the South Division, the Calgary Canucks. Bailey Nitty, Newcap Sports.
And the women's Lakeland Rustlers volleyball team split this weekend against the Grand Prairie Wolves. The Rustlers had a home-and-home weekend but couldn't manage to get the win on Saturday. The girls started off strong, but the wheels fell off in the 5th set.
There's no doubt we should have won the match in 4. We're up 20-16 in the 4th set, and we give up 6 in a row. If you can't let that happen. If you want to be one of the best teams, you have to be able to play set out, and you have to make sure that your opponents don't go on long runs like that.
Friday night, the Rustlers beat the Wolves 3-2. They capitalized on the other team's mistakes and stayed consistent with their serve receive. It was the negative mental slips that outweighed the good in Saturday's game, allowing the Wolves to come back and take the 3-2 win.
We know we can beat them. We know we can beat the top teams in the North. So I think it's a good. It shows us where we stand, and so it's exciting.
And the men's team also played the Wolves this weekend, and it also ended in a split at home. Both teams will be headed to Fort McMurray this weekend to play the Keano College Huskies.